Hey guys, I'm going to post another video here. This is going to be basically a basic demonstration type video. I'm going to switch my bag around a little bit, and I'm just going to hit kind of a variety of shots. Something that might be a little bit more standard, something that, you know, you can more relate to. I'm going to put mile in. Let's put Guardian. Let's go to, a lot of guys are using Backbone. It's a pretty popular iron. I definitely recommend the Claw, especially once I get mine up to a Tour 10. A lot of guys are using Hornet as well. I'm going to stick with the Claw. I like the backspin that you get. And I'm going to keep my Nirvana on. I am probably going to end up switching over to this Amazon as soon as it's a 6 for a little bit. The only thing that you're really missing on that Amazon is the ball guide. Everything else, and plus accuracy, but chances are you're not going to make it if you don't. I basically never make a rough shot unless it's a perfect ball. So therefore, if I hit Amazon and can still hit a perfect ball, it should go in theory, even though I won't have that trail to really show me what to do. But I'm thinking about just basically using it for kind of dunk shots, and that's another thing I'm gonna kind of demo here is dunk shots. So I'm gonna just keep the way my sand and rough iron are. Let me switch, because some of you might not have Endbringer. Let me just switch to Down in One, because it's almost the same club. If you look at this here, it's almost the exact same club as Endbringer, but the ball guide sucks. But I'm going to try to focus on dunk shots here on these matches, just so you guys can see kind of just another alternate approach to playing some shots. So let's go to Tour 2. I'm going to try to draw some opponents, get a couple matches, see if I can't post a half decent video. It's been a while since I posted. I still been doing some tournaments. I've been trying to do this Masters, but it's really hard. The problem with the Masters is the fact that you can't practice the setup. So you get a little bit extra wind that they give you, and then also that third tee deck. Well, there's no way to practice that third tee deck. So you basically have to just wing it. And it's really kind of kicking my ass a little bit. I'm having a lot of trouble creating shots. So let's see. So I have mile now. I'm gonna do basically just a curl shot around. I'm gonna try to set it up to get to a short iron or something, somewhere in that range. Perfect ball. Get it in play, basically somewhere in the fairway, hopefully. I don't usually play this shot, so I'm hoping I don't run out of fairway. And I don't usually play this club either, so this is pretty new experience for me. I like going for this green and just ripping it in the bunker with Apocalypse up there. Sometimes it'll bounce over, but you don't need to play that way to win. So let me just give you guys a couple demos. I'm going to kind of walk through a tutorial on how to do dunk shots, and I'm going to basically try it on this very next shot here. So it seems like their algorithm, it's one of the things that I want to talk about a little bit, I guess, is their matching algorithm seems to be improved. I keep getting opponents that are more in the 2,000 to 3,000 range again, which is nice because I don't have to wait 5 minutes for a game anymore. I can actually get a game, and you know, there's guys with 2,000 to 3,000 trophies all the time playing Tour 2. So Okay, so this is going to be a little bit harder wind, but let's just go for it anyway. So one of the approaches that I like to do, well, first off, I like to figure out how long the club is, which it's looking like it's kind of a mid club here. It's kind of like right in the middle, so that's going to kind of help you with how much wind you have to play. So if I point this, if I get the pointer and then basically put it right below, it should kind of put it on line with where I need it. And if you see where my positioning was there, let's see if I can get this. Oh, it hit the back of the cup. That is bull. So I was really close there, but I've been really trying to focus on trying to get some of those shots to fall for me. I had to rush that one a bit, so I wasn't sure if I was completely lined up. Plus, it's a little far. The farther you get, the harder it is to dunk it. But that one should have been in. That hit the cup. It was just on the back edge there. I was hoping it would have been nice if that would have ran through, and I could have did a wedge shot for you guys. I'm worried about, so I try to putt it off the green here, but I'm worried about this guy beating me out right if I do that, so it might not be the best approach. But if you can replay that demo, you can kind of see the way that I pointed. I basically played the wind according to the way that to where it was pointing, and just tried to figure out how much wind I had to play based on how far I was. It's kind of complicated, like determining. It just takes some practice. So what I do is I zoom in as far as possible. So that's one of the things that I want to mention here, is I always zoom in at the absolute most that you can zoom in, and then I try to play my wind accordingly. It's going to vary. So on the very front end of the club, let's say I hit it right to where that claw is the shortest possible, like right before it gets to my end bringer, like right on that short end. Well, that's ideal because the wind's almost not even going to play there. So I can just put it right on the lip of the cup and have no problem. Well, the longer that club is, the more the wind's going to play. So the way that I had it there, it was more in like the middle of the club. So it was kind of like a medium amount of wind that I was playing. And another thing to notice is where my aimer was. So if you go back and play that video, where did I release? Was it dead center? It wasn't quite. You pull it down just a little bit extra. For whatever reason, the dead center of the thing will leave it short every time. And so that's one of the biggest mistakes I see on the dunk shot, is guys they'll put it on that front edge. They'll put it in the middle, and then they'll miss on the front edge of the cup. And it's just unfortunate that the game they haven't really fixed that to where the center is actually the center. It doesn't seem to actually be that way. You have to go like a little bit past center, but I'll do another one here so I can explain a little better. So one of the things I'd like to do on this one, you see my spin, I do basically like 1 bar of back and then 2 of side spin. Almost nobody plays this shot like this, but I strongly encourage it. It's super easy. So all I'll have to do here is I'll have to play the wind and then use the slope. Hopefully I don't shank it. I didn't. So what this is going to do is it's going to take advantage of this slope, and it's just going to run right towards the cup. Even if I miss, it's right there. Nobody plays it this way. I win every time I play this hole, and I make it almost half the time I play it. So the only reason that didn't go in is I just had my aim arrow just too short. You saw the ball just stop from running out. Plus I was rushing, plus I was talking. So all that, combination But the misses, they're so perfect on that hole. Like, I almost never lose that hole. And it's just funny that nobody is playing that shot like that. They're all trying to do like some crazy backspin shot. So if you actually look at the green and were to actually like pull your arrow forward and backwards, you're gonna see the ball trail doing a whole bunch of shit. And so that's one of the reasons that I don't even bother with going straight at the pin there. It's better to play the slope. If you play the slope and figure out a good landing zone like I just aimed there, it's going to be within a yard every time, first off, and it's going to go in quite a bit. If you just replicate my spin, I haven't seen any other. I've played that hole a ton of times, and the best that I've ever played it is 1 bar of backspin, 2 bars of side spin. There's no other. I've never seen anybody play it more consistently than I do. So I'm not sure that there's a better shot out there, to be honest with you. That's one of the ones that I really have just kind of dialed in. So let's go to this hole. This hole I really like. If I hit it on the fringe here, here's the problem. I don't know how to hit it on the fringe with extra mile. I'm gonna add a little bit of power, but you really need to focus on perfect ball here, so I don't want to get too carried away. Okay, got my perfect. I'm just trying to get it up there. Now, whether I get it to claw range, let me see where it is. Okay, this is gonna be claw range. So if you hit it up there onto that fringe, you can go at it with your wedge. You really don't want to go at it with the wedge because you have to play more wind. So you're better off hitting it to your short iron if you want to go for this dunk. But okay, first let me explain. Going for the dunk here is kind of stupid because if you don't make the dunk, it's probably going off the cliff, at least with short iron. But well, at least from that close of a short iron, you'll see where the hop is, but the chances of me missing it are pretty small. I'm gonna have to miss my perfect ball in order to miss this dunk shot. So I really don't care what the wind is. Of course, the higher it is, the worse, but okay, so you see, okay, so if you look at my trail, yeah, we're gonna be okay. We're not. So it gets to a point that it just scoots right off that back edge, and it doesn't look like I'm quite there yet. But you're basically going to want to keep this inside cup here. It's only a 0.6 wind, which is almost nothing, especially for a short iron. So as you see, I'm still well in the cup here. And I'm focused on just, making sure that it's going to basically land on the pin. It's kind of the goal here. And then you're going to see, look at where I'm pulling back to, because this is kind of perfect. And you see, nothing but cup. So that's, if you can, just kind of replicate that, you're really going to, give yourself a chance to make some more shots. I've shown you some other tutorials on how to play that wedge shot. So if you need to, if you actually want to legitimately play the shot, that's cool too. You can watch some of the videos. I would use like 1 or 2 backspin, and of course try to make that on the front door of the hole, which is slow rolling it into the cup versus back spinning it into the cup. Would be the other way that I would try to make that. And sure, yes, it's going to be very easy. One of the advantages to the dunk shot is these crazy greens. So we've been doing these tournaments, right? They just have the crazy slopes and all kinds of weird green bounces. Well, if you can master this dunk shot, then you can basically disregard all that crazy hops that you see. So I can use that dunk shot. I can't guarantee that it's going to go in, but I can use it on the rough. I can use it out of the bunker. And where you set the ball in the center is the same every time. It's like a little bit past center, like what you would consider dead center. Now you don't want to get too carried away. I have a problem doing it with a 3-wood. The accuracy just starts to just be ridiculous, but I can do it with a long iron. I can still do it, and I've made it with long irons. I can make it from the back end of my short iron pretty regularly. So that's not really an issue. It doesn't matter if it's the front of the club, the back of the club. Of course, the more wind, the worse, the harder it gets. But on these 1 winds, 3 winds, sure, I'm gonna go for it. Like there's no reason not to. Okay, so what's the odds I'm gonna make it anyway? It's pretty small, right? So even if I miss, it's essentially like I missed just doing the dunk, like I was gonna miss the pitch anyway. So there's really no harm in doing the pitch shot, unless of course, you miss the pitch shot and then miss the putt afterwards. But I guess as long as you're reasonably close to the hole and can actually execute, there's really no disadvantage to doing it. Let's see where we're at. 16 minutes. Okay. I'm going to do one more hole after this. I don't want this video to go too long. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to figure out, okay, so here's that. There's the long iron. So I'm kind of, once again, right in the middle. This time I'm not going to really backspin it. If I miss, I'd rather be off the green. So how much wind to play? That's the big question. So I'll point it like this. I'm going to play it basically right on the back of the cup. Kind of like this. That's how much wind I'm playing. So if you want to see how much that's going to affect, personally, I think I'm probably overplaying it. I think it might be a tad much. But it should hit the pin. I ran out of time. Damn it. That's okay. Next time. I was just faking you guys out with that. I was just pretending to go for it. No, I completely lost track of time. So, okay, so backspin's not going to matter. Basically, I have to make this to force a playoff. So, same thing. So, the goal is to make it. So, I'm going to point my arrow, my wind arrow. I'm going to try to get it absolutely perfectly pointing forward. And then I'm going to play my wind according to that. And just try to drop it right in the center of the hole somewhere, like this. So 2.1 wind, that's how much wind I'm playing. Okay. And watch where I'm putting it. That's the critical point. Perfect ball. Nothing but cup. We're almost directly in the center. So that's kind of what you're looking for. If you want to, kind of improve your game in a little bit. As you can see, I'm not using fancy clubs. I'm not doing fancy spins. I'm not doing anything. I'm just executing shots, making eagles. That's it. So let's see if I can get this time. I'm going to have a little bit more time. I'm going to do the same shot as last time. 1 and 2. And I'm going to play the slope just like this. I mean, this time I don't even have to play the wind, so it might just be good to see if it looks like I might be a little high here, but if you could see where I'm aiming, it should be about money on the run out, on where it's going to run out. So again, you want to go a little bit past center to make sure that you're not losing distance. I'm going to play just a little bit of a hook or slice. I was just a little bit right of center because I felt like I was a little high. So I'm hoping that it comes off the hill right in the cup, just like that. And that's all because I didn't want to adjust my aim, because it would have been a pain in the ass to just move it a little bit. So what I did instead is I put it just a tiny bit right of center intentionally. So that's just another shot aid that you can use if you're lazy. Well, not necessarily lazy, but to actually move the shot arrow sometimes is extremely hard. So if you're not zoomed in 100%, when you try to touch it, it's going to touch way more than you want it to. So you kind of got firsthand here exactly, how to make this hole, how to play this one pretty decent. Nobody plays it that way for whatever reason. Even though they see me do it 100 times, make it all these times, they still don't try to replicate my shots. So hopefully this video will encourage people to actually see, well, hey, this is how I do it. Maybe I should start replicating this shot a little bit. Okay, so let me do one more hole here. I'm just hoping to get just a little bit more variety. Same thing, I'm gonna try to go to extra hole. I'm gonna try to get one other playoff hole, hopefully. There's another one that could come up. It's the hill one that I'd really like to get. I can show you guys a little bit of approach for that hole. There's certain holes that you always get that hill par 3. That's the one that goes like hard right to left. There's certain holes that you get it every time. And this one I get it sometimes. So I might get that hole. But my goal here is I'm going to try to tie this guy because I want to get to the playoff hole. So I'm a little worried about, that I'm going to make the dunk on him again. So we might try something else here. Again, I'm just not used to playing this at all with mile driver. So perfect ball. That's what you really, really need to focus on for this drive. You don't have a lot of room for error. It looks like mine might have even hit, well, I don't know. I don't usually play this drive, but it looks like it might have even hit one of the branches. But I don't know. I don't know how far it was supposed to run out, to be honest with you. I never play this club. I'm hoping he's going to get 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, I'm going to roll my pitch off the green intentionally, and then I'm just going to make the dunk shot again. Basically turn this into a dunk video for the most part, plus a few extra par 3s. Okay, so we're right on the fringe. Now, obviously, this is best case scenario. You're not usually this close. The principle doesn't change that much. As long as you're close, I'd say within, no more as twice as far as I am right now from the hole. Pretty much the same amount of wind is going to apply. You're not going to have to play very much wind. It's when you start getting to the long part of the club that you're going to have to start playing wind. So I'm not worried about ball trail because all I'm trying to do is dunk. And look how big my circle is. Like, it's just ridiculous. So, in fact, that's something I'm going to demo here. If you look at how big this bullseye is, it's just ridiculously huge. Okay, so what am I going to do? I'm basically going to play it essentially right on the pin. There's no wind that's going to... The biggest thing here, more so than anything, is just getting the depth. But I'm going to shank it intentionally just to show how impossible this is to shank. I'm hitting it into the black. It ain't doing nothing. It doesn't matter. You basically just hit it and forget it. Look how tiny that bullseye is. There's no margin of error. There was no part of that bullseye that was outside the cup, which means the ball is never going to go outside the cup. Okay, so this is the par 3 that I wanted us to get. This is the hill par 3. A lot of guys completely play this wrong. One of the best clubs to play it with is the Goliath. I'm kind of at a disadvantage because my club isn't long enough to play the shot that I want. Typically what I'll do is I'll play it over that bunker and then just backspin it like crazy, get it. So this guy played it pretty good. That's exactly how I try to do it. But since I can take it over the bunker, I play it with right curl as well to basically get it hooking back up, and then it just basically dies. It either goes in or it's a yard every time. It's just crazy. But I'm going to do it with Guardian here, since I put Guardian in my bag, which is basically going to be, I'm going to use 8 bars of backspin for Guardian. And as you can see, Guardian's still coming in hot. Very, very hot. So I'm going to take off on that. So how much to take out? That's the next question. So I'm going to put just a little bit of curl, and then I'm going to take off some like this. If you see where I'm at, let's hope that's about where we want it. And it's coming in a little hot. I probably needed to take just a tiny bit off, tiny bit more than that, but as you can see, it comes in super soft that way. It doesn't really roll out much. It's close. It's very close. It's within, he hit a really good shot, but he had long, so if I would have been able to do it with I usually play it with Tsunami and play the same shot. I'll do 7 bars of backspin and I'll do 3 bars of side spin, and I'll put it within a yard, 1.3, 1.4 every time, or it goes in. And I'll just do that exact same thing where I just do just a tiny bit of curl, just like you saw me, just putting it just right of center. And then it just stops right behind the hole, funnels down and either hits the hole or it just stops right behind it. So hopefully you found this video tutorial beneficial, and you can figure out how to play, just a couple more holes, a couple more shots. Kind of gives you that option to hit that dunk shot that you might be otherwise afraid to play.